Welcome to another episode of the Saturday Morning Snap Fantasy Football Podcast. Your weekly dose of news and advice that comes to your pocket every single Saturday. Holding it down, here we got Mac, Mark, Scott, and Landon. Enjoy today's show.
Welcome to another episode of the Saturday Morning Snap Fantasy Football Podcast. Like you heard in this intro, this is not your esteemed host, Mackenzie Tout. It's Landon here with the guys, Scott, Marky. What is good, my friends? Hopefully you had a good New Year. Actually, it is Saturday, January 4th, 2020. And I want to welcome anyone here that is just coming maybe for the first time in the new year. Well, welcome. For all you longtime listeners, welcome as well. Welcome back. We are a podcast that will run in the off season. We're going to be putting out content all year round. Everyone on YouTube, remember hit that subscribe button, the like button. And I want to talk to my good pal, Scotty. What's good, homie?
The playoffs are here. Fantasy is a distant memory. So much fun, so many tears. Another great year. But as we know, gambling never stops. So it's an exciting time for everyone because, whether you won your fantasy league or you finished dead last, it is time for DFS Daily Fantasy Leagues. Whether it is the NFL.com challenge that we're going to talk about or your DraftKings enthusiasts, now we get to just watch real football and every weekend cheer for new players that we are convinced are in for a day. The playoffs are here. This is what it's all about. I'm excited. Skol, go Vikings. Marky, what's up?
Yeah, great to be back with you guys. It's 2020. I'm excited that we're going to keep this podcast going in the off season because, man, I just like chatting with you guys. And whether it's directly related to our teams or not, we do have an awesome looking playoff picture right now. And super excited to kick off the games this weekend and then keep it rolling with the heavier hitting division winning teams next week. So yeah, this is a great time of the year and I'm feeling refreshed. I'm feeling like it's going to be another solid year in my life.
If you are on Instagram or Twitter, shoot us a follow. We're SMS Fantasy. My Twitter handle is Landon_SMS. Mark is MarkDraft_SMS, the best Mark Drafter I know. And Scotty is the Scott_SMS. Hit us up. Let us know if you have any bold predictions for the playoffs. Who do you have winning the Super Bowl? We're going to talk about a playoff challenge coming up and that you could actually participate in as well. The winner of this contest gets free entry into our listener league.
Now that's a
ton
hot
of fun this
prize
past
right
year. I know, I agree. I think Easy's pretty jacked that he gets his first opportunity to get in again.
I love that guy. I am pulling for
in.
him. So Easy, you better be doing your research hard because this is probably the easiest way to get into the listener league. We've got some pretty interesting ideas coming up for the fall and summer about how people are going to be getting in. So jump on this opportunity now.
Oh, Easy's getting in for sure. He's gonna find it. He's gonna find a way.
I got faith.
Come hell
I have
or
a lot of faith.
Dante Hightower.
Hey. So how was I hope everyone had a safe and happy New Year. Scotty, how was your New Year? Was it wild and crazy like it was in your 20s?
Oh, no, not crazy at all, really. It was a dignified New Year's Eve. I got to, as I've moved out of the, walk and Uber central city of Toronto to a smaller township, we actually got to play the old, do we try to get one of the 7 cabs in the city, or do one of us drive? And I decided to drive on New Year's Eve, actually. So we went out to a nice restaurant, and I got to play Count the Drinks to make sure that at the end of the night I could safely get us home. Not quite the New Year's I had in my early 20s, but dignified and delightful. Marky, what were you up to?
Mark, is this a new year, new you? Have you been in the gym yet?
You asking me?
Marky?
No, I haven't been. I haven't been to the gym yet, but I feel like I've been fairly active over the break. I like doing things like snowshoeing. I was snowboarding a couple days ago. I'm always getting out with my dog and that, but no gym. But yeah, the New Year's was pretty fun. I actually linked up with some old buddies I hadn't seen in a while, and a couple of whom gave us a subscribe on Apple Podcasts, and they look forward to listening to the next episode because I promised them big things.
There you go.
Yeah.
Have you slept on your couch lately? Is it lonely without me sleeping on your couch?
You know what? I've been sprawled out on there, Lando, but I just wish more of my dirtbag friends were sleeping here because they couldn't find a way home that night.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, let me introduce our NFL Playoff Challenge. We do it every year, and the strategy behind it's not like DraftKings where you have a budget for each player you pick, but there's a multiplier if you make it to the next round. So all these wildcard games, if you pick the Saints, for example, and the Vikings just stomp them, the Saints players that you pick this week will not make it, not get a double multiplier, but all the Vikings would. So, and so on and so forth. There's a 3 times multiplier for the conference finals, and then, or divisional, and then the conference, and then Super Bowl, you get a 4 times multiplier. If for some reason, say you pick maybe Michael Thomas, and if they make it to the Super Bowl, he gets a 4 times multiplier for your team. So next week, if you pick a player that has a bye week 1, they automatically get a 4 times multiplier next week. So, or 2 times, I don't know what I said. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I will tweet the link out again, and I will get everyone else to tweet the link out. Feel free to join if you want to just search on the playoffchallenge.fantasy.nfl, search SMS Fantasy and find us and join in and see if you could beat us. I don't think you can, but well, maybe Scotty. You could definitely beat Scotty because he's drafting with his heart, which he always does, and that's why we love you, Scotty.
Hey, second place. Calm down.
All right, let's go over our picks. So I will start. I'm going with Lamar Jackson at quarterback. He's 38% started. My Saints, I'm picking Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, and Will Lutz. I think they're going to the Super Bowl. They're my favorite to win, personally. I love the Vikings. I'm a Vikings fan, but I just don't see any way after the Minneapolis Miracle that they can win. I'm going to go Mark Ingram and the Baltimore Ravens defense. And then I will go with Tyreek Hill and George Kittle as my 2 other players to take me to the championship and beat all you listeners. So, Scotty, walk me through your team. Is it just all Vikings?
There's a healthy dose of purple. And I will say that's because I'm a big fan of going against the grain in these type of pick'em leagues where you can pick anybody without any penalty. Because as we've talked about earlier, guys like Michael Thomas are getting picked at an 82%, justifiably so.
Scott is very rattled that he can't pick Jamison Crowder.
I just don't know what to do. I just don't know. All those targets just gone. But that being said, there's a healthy dose of purple, and that is my strategy in these situations. Is I do normally like to try to go a little against the grain because it's the playoffs. Anything can happen. If your team is completely with the grain, then odds are a lot of other people in your pool have picked exactly the same guys you have. So, I like to try to think, yes, I'm a Vikings fan. They are, statistically, they're in for a rough week, and I hope they pull it out. But I like to take a few guys on teams that are underdogs because then if I win next week, they're in times 2. If not, I get to start again. I don't have the multiplier, but, sometimes you have to go against the grain. So, that being said, the opposite of going against the grain, my quarterback selection is the Lamar Jackson because, how do you not? So even though he's a 38% start, I'm taking him as well. My first running back, Mr. Derrick Henry, one of my favorite running backs of the past, 3 years. It is fun to see him hit his full potential, and I think he's going to do it on the biggest stage of them all. And this time, I'm along for the ride instead of putting him on my bench, if anyone knows that story. Dalvin Cook is my RB2. Once again, an example of if they can squeak it out against the Saints, having a ×2 multiplier next week with Dalvin Cook, it's enticing. And he's only being started by 8% of people, so that would give me an advantage over a lot of different people. So, kicking over to wide receivers. Another one of my homer picks, the Minneapolis Miracle himself, Stephon Diggs. Started in 1% of leagues, so, go Vikes. Tyreek Hill, I don't know how you don't pick him. Started in 30% of leagues, but he is my second wide receiver. For the tight end, I am hedging my bets against the glorious purple. I'm picking Jared Cook. He really came through for me all season long in multiple fantasy leagues, and I think he's going to probably at least be good for one touchdown against the Vikes this wildcard round. And then to round out the team, I'm picking Justin Kicker, the best kicker in the league, Justin Tucker. Baltimore, I'm going to wait a week for him, and I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings, started by 0% of teams, because the Vikings D is great. They are turnover hungry, and they are taking on one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and a very scary running back tandem, and a record-breaking wide receiver. That being said, if the turnovers happen, I think everything could come collapsing down quickly, and I want that ×2 multiplier next week. That's my team.
All right, Scott.
Marky.
I've got a couple of the same things going on here, but I've it's funny when I pick teams like this or when I'm drafting, I sometimes steer away from the most popular pick, and when I look at this lineup, a lot of these are like double-digit percentages, and I'm just normally not someone that has a lot of those. I usually end up with more flyers, and it's like you do, Scotty, drafting with your heart instead of like an expert analysis, which I often find myself doing. But anyways, I got some guys starting off on bye. I got 3 Kansas City Chiefs in my lineup, so I'm going to rattle them off, starting with the QB, Pat Mahomes. I've also got Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Now, I just think these guys are always clutch, always able to pull it out when they need to, and they've gotten where they are this season because all 3 of them work so perfectly together, especially at the end of the season. You saw how well they finished out, and I love the fact that I have 3 of them on this team. I've also got Alvin Kamara. I think he has got to be one of the most started guys. And it's like you say, Lando, I think this team has solid Super Bowl potential. And I like having them. Any Saint I can, but I went with Kamara. I've also got Will Lutz from the Saints. I've also got Derrick Henry, Scotty. He is, like you said, a blast to watch right now, and I think they're a better team than the Patriots, flat out, so he's going to dominate them this week. And then Davante Adams is my other wide receiver. And finally, I have got the San Francisco 49ers defense, started by 10%. So
I don't mind that.
Yeah, I'll read it off again. I got Patrick Mahomes, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill, Davante Adams, Travis Kelce, Will Lutz, 49ers D.
Perfect. Again, make sure to check Twitter, check our Instagram. We'll tweet out the link or just search SMS Fantasy on the NFL.com Fantasy Playoff Challenge.
Beauty.
Now we're going to get into Wildcard Weekend preview. It's not much fantasy talk. We're just talking about this weekend. It's still football. If you love fantasy football and player picks, join us on the playoff challenge. If you just want to hear our takes on this fun, it's going to be fun for me just to watch football and not have any side bets, players that I just want to score and players I don't want to score. So I'm just going to enjoy this weekend and see how it goes. First, we have the Bills at Texans. Texans are favored by 2.5. There's a team total, or the over-under is 44 points. Some injuries. Will Fuller is a game time decision. He's still dealing with a hamstring. It feels like he's dealt with his whole career. And there's a narrative. Can Deshaun Watson really beat a good Bills defense? And J.J. Watt is coming back, so that is a game changer for that Texans defense. He should put pressure on Josh Allen, and it should be fun. Who wants to talk about this game first? Who do you think is going to win? Are you excited to watch this game? Scotty, we'll start with you since you have a lot of Texans friends.
I do oddly have a lot of Texans friends. And you know what? For them, I would like to see the Texans actually pull this out when it matters and beat a good team. The Bills, I have a lot of Bills friends too. I mean, they are the team, they're kind of Canada's team, at least in the southern part of the country. And Bills fans have been waiting a long time to be relevant. So it's two franchises that seem to not be able to really perform when the bright lights are there. But the Bills are a little scary this year. Will Fuller, he is just a walking injury. And, I put a lot of stock in him this year. I picked him in some leagues. Didn't work out well for me. So I'm not putting much faith in him. J.J. Watt, man, the guy is electric, but also very injury prone at this point in his career. It will be interesting to see just how effective he is coming back, having not played for almost an entire season at this point. So there's a lot of question marks going into this. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. You got two scrambling quarterbacks with Allen and Watson. They're at as good health as they can be at this point in the season. I'm going to say I think the Texans do pull it off. I do think they have, at this point, a bit more talent on their actual roster than the Bills, but it's very close. And I'm looking forward to watching it a lot because they're two very exciting teams. Like, if you've watched a lot of Bills games this year, they're a fun team to watch. They're exciting. And Houston either sometimes looks like just the cream of the crop of the NFL or just an utterly confused mess. And I'm really excited to see what team shows up because it's usually night or day. I'm going to say that Houston will move on to the next round. It will be close, but I think Josh Allen coughs it up when it matters most. Maybe a 2-minute, 4-minute drill, fourth quarter. I just put a little more stock that Houston behind Deshaun Watson can actually get it done when it counts. But we'll see.
Mark, do you have a different take on this game, or are you in line with Scotty?
No, well, I actually want the Buffalo. I'm going to take Buffalo. So that's the one thing that falters. But I think, Scotty, that the Buffalo secondary is actually going to put up a way stronger performance against Hopkins and those wide receivers than lots of people might expect. So I'm taking Buffalo.
And Will Fuller being fully healthy is a game changer for this offense. Besides Hopkins, Carter, QT, both can't really do anything. Their tight ends are okay, but they haven't been involved, and their running game of the Texans just hasn't really been that great. So Devin Singletary should be interesting. How it goes. So.
All right, checking out our next matchup here. This one is a highly talked about one in the AFC, and the Tennessee Titans are taking on the New England Patriots. This is an exciting game because the Titans were nothing too special heading into the season, but ever since Tannehill took that quarterback position, they have looked like one of the strongest teams in the AFC. And you can't deny that guys like Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown have really added to the this monster of a team, an offensive line that couldn't get things together to begin the season, pulled it all in and finished super strong. They're looking like, to me, a better team than the Patriots. The Patriots are a squad that pulled away with, was a 12-4 record this year? Is that the record?
Yes, 12-4, 6-2 at home.
Yeah, and to me, that is one of like the worst 12-4 teams in the NFL. I know it is I'm gonna be red in the face if they start winning games now because they always managed to play their best football at this point in the season. But I'm going to be honest, I think the Titans are a much better team, and I would love to see them walk all over the Patriots in Foxborough this weekend. What do you guys have to say about this game? Is there a little bit of speculation about guys like Derrick Henry's health? Do you think that the Patriots offense can pull things together with their younger wide receiver core without Gronkowski, still having a super strong defense? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Marky, well, my dad always told me never bet against the Patriots in the playoffs, but I really think this might be finally the year that they trip and fall and don't make it to the Super Bowl. If they beat the Titans, I mean, how could you bet against them at this point, right? But like you said, the Titans have a great defense. The Patriots' offensive weapons just aren't what they used to be. Julian Edelman is hurt. Tom Brady has no one to throw to. He's obviously no Gronk. It would have been quite convenient if he decided to come back for the playoffs. But it should be a lot of fun to watch. It might be a really boring run, smash mouth, kind of two good defenses. I'd love to see the Ryan Tannehill magic and A.J. Brown magic again, but you just never know. I'm not touching this game. I'm not betting on this game. I don't usually bet on wins anyways, but either way, it should be fun to watch.
Yeah. What do you think, Scotty? Do you have anything to add on that one?
Mostly just these guys. The Titans, I think, are going to be the most exciting team in the NFL playoffs.
I hope so. I hope it's not just a mirage.
Well, and that's the thing, is there's a lot of talent there, and very quickly I think we will see whether it's a mirage, whether Tannehill just inked himself a very nice, lucrative quarterback deal. The Titans obviously think he is their medium to long-term answer at quarterback. Derrick Henry is won the rushing title this year. Brown has come on and looked every bit of that first-round draft pick that people thought he would be. There's a lot of excitement there, a lot of talent. One of the reasons I'm taking Derrick Henry in our fantasy challenge, I really think that this team could be something special. And in the AFC, they are the team that I am cheering for because I just think they are so much fun to watch when they are firing on all cylinders. It's against the Patriots. I mean, I've lost so much money. Really? I've stopped betting against the Patriots. But if they can pull this out, they will be just everyone's darling pick for the rest of the season because they are a lot of fun to watch. And I could see them eking it out. I think they have more talent at this point than at least the Titans have, or than the Patriots have on offense with a declining Tom Brady. So should be fun. All right, let's switch it over to the NFC. And my boys, the Vikings, are traveling to New Orleans to take on the powerhouse offense of the Saints. This game is interesting because there are a lot of injury storylines going into it, but I really think that when it comes time to play at 1 o'clock on Sunday, all the stars and all the players will be out. Dalvin Cook has been rested now for 2 weeks to get him ready. On the Vikings side, Adam Thielen is supposed to be healthy. He has not looked like the wide receiver that he has been over the past few games. But, everybody thinks everybody should be good to go. Mark Ingram's supposed to be healthy on the other side. Jared Cook is very concussion-free. This should be a powerhouse showdown. I hope the Vikings win. I will not give an opinion that you should follow because I am going with my heart on this one. I do think the Vikings will find a way to cause a couple turnovers and win this game, but their backs are up against the wall. And the smart money would say that the Saints at home are going to roll on the Vikings. I just hope that's not the case. Landon, what's your thoughts?
If I had the money to spend being a Vikings fan, I would bet it all on the Saints. It's going to be a tough matchup for the Vikings ever since that Minneapolis Miracle. I just think the Saints are going to have just no remorse for the Vikings. It happened once. I just can't see Sean Payton and the Saints letting that happen again. Let it slip. Let that win slip through their fingers like it did. I know it was great. It was amazing to see. But Yeah, no, I don't think anyone can stop Drew Brees and the Saints. I think I would love to see Drew Brees win I know it's against my Vikings, but win a Super Bowl. Michael Thomas, the reception leader, it'd be a fun Super Bowl to watch. Let's say that, with all these very talented players from the Saints be in the final dance. So I'm gonna take the Saints. Sorry about my Vikings, but it's just not the year for them. And I think should be a fun game no matter what. And hopefully, Scotty, you and I can watch that together.
That's the plan.
How many touchdowns is Taysom Hill going to get in that game? 4?
Which Hill?
5?
Josh Hill or Taysom Hill? Are they different people? I don't know. I don't see them.
Know.
They're never on the field at the same time. Coincidence? Yeah, you never know. They're frustrating. I mean, it's been a frustrating offense to own Alvin Kamara all year round, unless you are a Michael Thomas owner. Anyways, to round out our wildcard weekend, we'll talk about the Seahawks at the Eagles. Super pumped the Eagles got in and the Cowboys did not. Sorry, Dallas fans, but Seahawks are favored by 2. The narrative on this game is the injuries. The Eagles could not be more depleted. They don't have any starting wide receivers. Miles Sanders expects to play, but you still never know. Boston Scott has looked really good. So it's tough. It's really tough. The Seahawks, Chris Carson's out for the season. Rashad Penny's out. It's been, at least they're a little more healthy, but they have Marshawn Lynch back running the ball. So it was fun to watch him last weekend jump over the line and score, but they still managed to lose the game. So I think for me, it's between Russ versus Carson Wentz. Can Carson Wentz win in the playoffs without their backup, Nick Foles? That's going to be the question. Scotty, Mark, who wants to comment on this? We'll start with Scotty. Do you have any interest in this game? Where do you see this going? I think you're taking the Seahawks, right?
Oh, I'm absolutely taking the Seahawks. The fact that this is played in Philadelphia, it's just a hilarious little stat that happens with the way the playoff breakdown happens. I think that Seattle will be fine. Yes, they have Marshawn Lynch back. Beast mode is, ready to roll in some capacity. We will see what that is. But I really think that although the passing game's been a bit of a blip the past few weeks, anyone who started Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf in their fantasy championship round knows that for sure. But that being said, it's been a season of great passing from Wilson to his top guys. And I think that's actually where they're going to win this. I think Lockett's going to come through in the clutch. And I think Metcalf's going to show that he is a solid rookie wide receiver. And I think Marshawn Lynch definitely has enough in him to at least throw himself over the goal line a few more times. I just think the Eagles are too broken. They're too injured. They're too depleted. They managed to get in a division where, the winner, whoever it was going to be, it was pretty sad. And I really think that the Seahawks are still a legitimate team. They're not the same as they were with Chris Carson in full health, but I definitely think they have enough skill to overthrow the Eagles at this point with all the broken bodies on that side. So I'm going to take the Seahawks, and I'm not thinking twice about it. Mark, what do you think?
I'm actually going to go the other way and take the Eagles, and I think that's because their defense is a little bit slept on, especially their run defense. I think they're going to be putting constant pressure on Russell and that offensive line, which we saw was a huge factor last week. I'm not saying the Eagles' pass rush is anything compared to the 49ers, but it looks like when you limit Russell's ability to move around and the time he gets in that pocket, then that team doesn't have the success that they need. I feel like they're both very hurting teams. We know that, but I'm just going to put a little bit more stock. It's a really close matchup. I'm going to put a little more stock into Carson Wentz just because I've been so impressed with the way he's been playing recently, especially with the personnel around him. So I think they're going to come through clutch, and they're going to win this game by 3 points. Eagles by 3.
There you go. You heard it here first. We're a little bit out of our element talking games instead of just fantasy people. So if you're enjoying this, hey, give us a shout, tweet us. But before we go, I want a Super Bowl prediction. Give me the winner, Super Bowl winner for this year. Scotty?
Oh, that's a tough one at this point. The 49ers are looking very good.
That's a good pick.
They really are. But I don't think they're going to do it. It's a hard pick at this point. I'd say the 49ers are my favorite, but I just have this feeling about them where Garoppolo is going to be, not be exposed, but I just think he's going to let them down. All right. I'm not sure who's going to win at this point. Ask me next week.
Marky, who you got winning?
Ravens. They're going to win.
Right.
They're going to score 48 points and beat the Saints.
I was going to say the Ravens, but since you went Ravens, I'll go Saints. Stick with my gut.
All right. I like it.
All right. Tilly wants you to go, Scotty. Or Marky, you want to give us an outro, and we'll see you next week?
Yeah. Tilly is just telling all you guys to hit that subscribe button, link us, share us with your friends. We're stoked to have you on board, even though the fantasy season's over, and we hope it's a great playoffs and that all your picks are right too, because we know ours always are.
Have a good 2020, everyone. Happy New Year.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Saturday Morning Snap Fantasy Football Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at SMS_fantasy. Support this independent podcast at patreon.com/Saturday Morning Snap.